Good morning, Riikka, and I hope you're as comfortable as possible today. Um, really, and I do hope that everything that may have been, difficult yesterday. Sorry, I'm just reaching for a coffee. Um, uh, will resolve itself as easily as possible for you, and with as little inconvenience as possible. I shall not add to that inconvenience by detaining you too long, but you were kind enough, really kind enough to ask for some Virginia, and some Virginia you shall certainly get, although, sadly, as I've explained, not the one you were waiting for. I hope that's going to arrive today, I really do. I did think about continuing the one I did for you before, Man's Magnificent Mephistophelian Madness. But I'm too dopey for that at the moment. It's not exactly easy breakfast listening or reading. So I'll put that aside for a while, until you feel like hearing some more of it. I probably will want to read some more of it, because it is very possibly my favourite novel. But no, let's deviate slightly with something equally modern, but very, very different. And in place of the waves, I'm going to read from her selected essays, which is a little gem of a collection. And the one I'm going to attempt to recite is called Poetry, Fiction, and the Future. And I hope this little excerpt will make sense on its own. And excuse me, sorry, I'm very, very tired. In a good way. That's not a sort of, I don't want to do this kind of tiredness. It's actually a sort of hyperactive, I do want to do this kind of tiredness, but I don't know how well I shall cope with the complexity of her sentences. And I hope I'm not speaking too quickly. That's a very bad habit. I shall slow and think. Well, I won't think too much. I try not to think too much. And just get on with the bloody reading. Okay. Virginia Woolf, Poetry, Fiction, and the Future. There is a vague, mysterious thing called an attitude to life. We all know people, if we turn from literature to life for a moment, who are at loggerheads with existence. Unhappy people who never get what they want. Baffled, complaining, who stand at an uncomfortable angle whence they see everything slightly askew. There are others again who, though they appear perfectly content, seem to have lost all touch with reality. They lavish all their affections upon little dogs and old china. They take interest in nothing but the vicissitudes of their own health, and the ups and downs of social snobbery. There are, however, others who strike us. Why precisely it would be difficult to say, as by nature or circumstances, in a position where they can use their faculties to apply the full upon things that are of importance. They are not necessarily happy or successful, but there is a zest in their presence, an interest in their doings. They seem alive all over. This may be partly the result of circumstances. They have been born into surroundings that suit them. But much more is the result of some happy balance of qualities in themselves, so that they see things not at an awkward angle all askew, nor distorted through a mist, but foursquare, in proportion. They grasp something hard. When they come into action, they cut real ice. A writer, too, has in the same way an attitude to life, though it is a different life from the other. They, too, can stand at an uncomfortable angle, can be baffled, frustrated, unable to get at what they want as writers. This can be true of the novels of George Gissing. Then again they can retire to the suburbs and lavish their interest upon pet dogs and duchesses, prettiness, sentimentalities, snobberies, and this is true of some of our most highly successful novelists. But then there are others who seem by nature or circumstances so placed that they can use their faculties freely upon important things. It is not that they write quickly or easily, or become at once successful or celebrated. One is rather trying to analyze a quality which is present in most of the great ages of literature, and is most marked in the work of the Elizabethan dramatists. They seem to have an attitude to life, a position which allows them to move their limbs freely, a view which, though made up of all sorts of different things, falls into the right perspective for their purposes. In part, of course, this was a result of circumstances. The public appetite, not for books, but for the drama, the smallness of the towns, the distance which separated people, the ignorance in which even the educated then lived, all made it natural for the Elizabethan imagination to fill itself with lions and unicorns, dukes and duchesses, violence and mystery. This was reinforced by something which we cannot explain so simply, but which we certainly feel. They had an attitude to life which made them able to express themselves freely and fully. Shakespeare's plays are not the work of a baffled and frustrated mind. They are the perfectly elastic envelope of his thought. Without a hitch, he turns from philosophy to a drunken brawl, from love songs to an argument, from simple merriment to profound speculation. All this, and it is, I beg your pardon, and it is true of all the Elizabethan dramatists, that though they may bore us, and they do, They may never make us feel that they are afraid or self-conscious, or that there is anything hindering, hampering, inhibiting the full current of their minds. And I would dearly love to continue with that. But doing more than 10 minutes is a bit of an indulgence. I'm sorry that I read that so badly. I would like to claim that it was out of consideration for the fact that English is not your first language. But in reality, it was in fact out of the fact that I was not very well across what she was writing and saying there. I will prepare. Well, I always say this. I will prepare next time, because I hope there will be a next time, and possibly go on with that, because I think that's rather an interesting theme and topic. And she, needless to say, she does say things. She comes across as quite pompous at times, but I guess that was just the manners of the age. Sorry, drinking again. Right, I shall let you get on. Thank you very much for listening. Next time, man or even bloody Christopher. No, because only lunatics read Christopher for fun, don't they? Right, have a splendid day, and I shall speak to you whenever. All the best. Bye bye.